Go. Okay. Good morning, everyone. As a preliminary matter, this is John Brescher, Chair of the Town Government Study Committee. For me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Campbell Sutton.
Here.
Rick Atherton.
Here.
Linda Williams.
Here.
Curtis Barnes.
Present.
All right, we don't have any anticipated speakers on the agenda. So this open meeting of the Town Government Study Committee is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we've been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirements of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. This order, which you can find posted with the agenda materials for this meeting, allows public bodies to be entirely remotely as long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment to those members of the public who have joined us via Zoom. For this meeting of the Town Government Study Committee, we are convening via video conference via the Zoom app as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Please know that this meeting is being recorded and that all attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you and to take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. All supporting materials that have been provided to members of this body are available on the town's website unless otherwise noted. The public is encouraged to follow along unless I note otherwise. All right, let's go to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, let's go over some ground rules. I'll introduce each speaker on the agenda. Then we'll go down the line of members, invite each by name to provide comment, questions, and motions. Please hold until your name is called for. Please remember to mute your phone or computer when you're not speaking. Please speak clearly. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in conversation with other members, please do so through the chair. Take care to identify yourself. For any items of public comment, if members have spoken, the chair will afford public comment to those members of the public that have joined via Zoom. Members of the public who wish to state their names and be acknowledged by and speak through the chair. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted via roll call vote. Okay, so sick of that. All right, so first item on the agenda is an approval of the agenda as written. Is there a motion to do so?
So moved.
Thank you, Curtis. Is there a second? Anyone?
Oh, second.
Thank you, Rick.
Gee, sorry.
Thank you, Rick.
I gotta be alert.
All right, we'll go through. Campbell has stepped away, so we'll go through the roll call. Here we go. Rick Atherton.
Aye.
Linda Williams. Linda's muted. Curtis Barnes.
I'm unmuted
Aye.
now.
Okay, thank you. So we have aye from Curtis, aye from Linda. Campbell, this is a motion to approve the agenda as written.
Yeah, I heard that.
Okay,
Yeah.
and the chair, John Brescher, votes aye as well. Terrific, thank you. Next item on the agenda is public comment, of which we have no members of the public.
Comment about public comment.
Oh, please, Curtis, go for it.
Just an update. Hillary called me yesterday
No.
and asked me to address her remarks to the committee. I told her that I appreciated what she had put in, but it was not high on our agenda at this point. So I just want you to know that she did reach out. I invited her to join us, and she said she wasn't going to do that anymore. She'd made her statement and felt that was up to others to follow through.
Thank you. Yes, Campbell.
So my question is, I was working last night, so I missed the select board meeting. I believe on the agenda was discussion of meeting in person. Was there any progress made on that, or does anyone know what was said
I
regarding?
didn't hear that.
Somebody asked me about that this morning and I have not heard yet.
I did not hear them, and I was on that meeting for a long time, so I never heard them bring it up.
Yeah, Dawn
Okay.
told me they were talking about it last night, but I just have not heard the upshot.
Okay, great, thanks. I just publicly wanted to
Okay.
ask.
No, it's a great question. I can't wait for this to be.
OVER?
Yep, that would be nice. Okay.
I'm checking Daybreak right now to see if there's anything in here.
Morning.
Okay.
That was the end of
So next item on the agenda are the meeting minutes. I apologize, I have not had a chance to do the minutes for the 13th, but I did get them done for the 21st.
Well, I have a comment on the 21st.
Okay, please.
It said present were, and I'm not included in present. But
What?
at the top of page 2, it said Curtis noted that we recommend.
Well.
So if I was commented, should I be present, or was that taken over from
I
someone
think
else?
I think that's a reasonable request.
Well, maybe I don't want to be on these minutes this week.
Yeah,
Anyway, I just make a note that
Sure.
if I've commented, I guess I was there.
Yep, duly noted. Any other comments on those minutes?
Move approval
With that
with
edit, okay.
correction.
All right, motion made. Is there a second?
second.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, any discussion on the motion? Not all those in favor, let's do a roll call vote. Campbell Sutton,
Aye.
Rick Atherton,
Aye.
Linda Williams,
Aye.
Curtis Barnes,
Aye.
and the chair, John Brescher, votes aye as well.
Excuse me, John, I'd just
Yes.
like to comment that while I voted, I did watch the meeting.
Nice.
I felt okay voting because the minutes reflected what I felt I had seen in the meeting.
I'm gonna pat myself on the back for that one. Thank you.
Yes, there you go.
It's a thankless job, John. We appreciate your doing it.
Very welcome. All right, so let's get to the meat of the discussion today before we dive into before we dive into sort of the big exciting news of that report from Lauren, which I don't think we really can.
That was not a report. That was
Uh-oh.
not a report from Lauren. It was her patting herself on the back about what they're doing. She didn't do a damn thing for what we're doing.
Yes, she did.
Yeah, I
Yes,
would
she
like,
did. I read the
Hey.
whole thing.
Okay, well, tell us then.
Hold on. Whoa, no.
We got to do that next week
Yeah.
because not everybody has gone through it.
Yeah,
not,
it's not on the
John
agenda.
hasn't gone through it yet.
Campbell.
okay, this is not on the agenda.
Yeah,
Therefore,
exactly.
it's not
Right.
just,
Yeah.
it's nothing.
Exactly. It's to say that this is something that we will discuss next week.
Yep.
That's all. Yep. Cool.
Point of order.
Yes, sir.
I have this thing with a list of things. Is there another report that she sent us?
Yes, the thing that was attached to it was the report.
I never got the attachment then.
It's on the top of the email. It's not in the
Okay.
All right, hold on.
I apologize. I never saw the report. I just saw a list.
Hold on. I'm going to send it to you.
All right, I'll get it later. I'm going to read it now.
Okay. All right. So be that as it may, that's for next week.
Next
Next.
week.
Okay. So let's dive into what we are sort of our game plan of what we're doing over the next four or 5 weeks, which is this sort of our list of topics to discuss. Campbell, yes, your hand is raised.
So I'm just going to ask whether I did send out a brief with links to it for other towns, town government study committees. And I think that had been on the agenda to discuss, and I just wanted to see if people had had a chance to look it over. And the reason I had originally sent out links was because I didn't want to buy anyone's review of the links, but it seemed that maybe it would be easier if people had an idea of what they would be looking for so that they could respond either with a, oh yeah, I agree, or no, that's not the way I see it, or we don't need that, or just sort of some fodder, if you will, for comment. And I wondering if anyone had a chance to take a look at those over the week.
I looked at the links and I pulled up one or two. I was going to print them and start reading them, and I have not done it, but I will.
Okay.
And thank you.
So I thought, now correct me if I'm wrong for this one, but I thought we had talked about, I mean, in Campbell, in terms of the other links for the government study committee, at our last meeting, we talked about possibly expanding role of government study committee and governance committee, et cetera. And I think the consensus from the committee, from this committee, and please correct me if I'm wrong, was that we were okay to leave it as is, and we weren't necessarily going to recommend anything.
Correct.
Am I mistaken on that, or is that?
Yeah, but the original question that we were reviewing under the list of topics was the role of the Town Government Study Committee and any potential ways we could enhance the process that we go through. Not that we change, that it's every 5 years, not that we change its directive or to annual town meeting, but whether there would be a way, like as I was trying to point out, a way to make it more efficient and effective. Perhaps looking for a way to get better responses from town council and town administration in a way. I feel that the stonewalling that we have gotten from them, at least for the 1.5 to 2 years that I've been on the committee, really creates a problem for this committee to do the job it's tasked with. And that to me reflects the insular nature of our administrative process and approach to inquiries from voters and residents. And I would like to see if there was a way to resolve that, because it seems like the issue, though we are appointed as from the legislative branch to represent them and take a look at things, the topics that we are allowed to pursue really fall, are really by the administrative approach that we encounter through town council and the current structure for strength of the manager. And that, I think, weakens our report to the town meeting, the legislative body, and it weakens it and it makes it less effective, thereby making people who are on the committee wonder if their time invested has any value in the end, if it's just shuffled off and has weak recommendations at the end of it on issues that aren't necessarily the issues that we have found to be important for the legislative body to consider. Sorry to the speech, but there you go.
Well said.
Very well said. I was going to say that's seemed like nice to get that out there. Yes, Rick.
Yeah, I understand. I think in order to sort of move that forward in some fashion, maybe Campbell has some language. I mean, I can think of, for example, in the charge to the committee that exists now, I've always felt the tagline "and other matters" picks up almost anything we need. But one thing we might think about adding is, and that town meeting charges town council to be available to provide support to the committee as necessary. I mean, if you want to change things, I'm not sitting. I'm sort of trying to deal with Campbell in a specific way, Campbell. Otherwise, you know, we're left kind of, okay, that sounds good, but what do you do to make it more effective in the way you're discussing?
Right, that's why I had sent out these links just as some, you know, potentials. There's, you know, Andover includes the town moderator and the town clerk, who are both elected officials who may way that that enhances the responsiveness of town admin and the town council. There's one with, let's see. There's one that includes, like, it lists the resources that the committee can utilize from state to local resources, and in doing so, makes town administration accountable to answering questions, like, so that it's stated directly in the mission, or in some way. That's what I'm saying, is like what I had sent out. I thought there were ways to just add some verbiage to try and make the our ability to question and gather information is enhanced. Right now, it seems like that it's very dependent on, people's relationships with town administration. Well, I'm not really big on, who do I know and what, it's not my thing. And I know some people it is, and rubbing elbows is, ooh, wonderful, but, I'm just trying to scan through here, because maybe another thing, just like we have, is all that's needed. But I do know that we had a pull-out topic on that. There's one that has the town administrator that acts as an advisor. That's in Pembroke. The town of Milton, I thought, was great. Their report showed the simplicity that a town government study committee could look at, given that may be what we're trying to look at. So I heard the bell. That must be the end.
I think it was somebody's email coming in. That's all.
That was a message from St. Paul's Church praying for us.
If you pray for a better speaker, that would be wonderful. Anyway, that's the concern that I have, and that was why I had sent out these links. And in our charter, there is an open area for additional comments, so we wouldn't have to be adding a new section. We would just open a section that's available there. And I feel like our time is really running down. So if nobody's looked at it, I guess that sort of tells me where people's interest is in pursuing improvement for this committee.
Well,
so with that, I'll let it go.
It's an excellent point, Campbell. It really is. And I think, sort of jumping ahead, what we should do is, at this point, in terms of our list of topics to talk about, and Rick, please jump in on this.
Yep.
I think we should plan on starting to make motions at our next meeting for saying that, to sort of put on the record how we feel about these topics, and then add those to our report. And if that's, if expanding or looking at the role of the government study committee is something you think we should add, I mean, I'd say sort of propose what you think it should be, or just in a sentence or two, and let's bring it up for a vote next meeting.
Okay,
because that about what I'm. Well, yes, Rick.
It was included in our report to the select board,
right,
as a question we were pursuing. So I'm not bringing it up out of.
No, I don't think you are. No, Rick.
Yeah, I think you sort of follow up on Campbell and John's comment. It seems to me One of our issues that we ought to kind of accept more responsibility for is we have a list of issues that we've all talked about, and like one of my little ones was the town manager should report on the organization structure of the town once a year to the selectmen and have them acknowledge receipt and make that a requirement of the charter, because otherwise it doesn't seem to happen. And I think if we would be, I think, well advised not to let these things just die without a committee action. So we've taken an action on two things only. The audit committee and the Teresa Williams town meeting articles. So I suggested to John, we plan to put on an agenda, and I'd be happy to draft some, and maybe others would, a proposed motion on certain of our topics we've discussed. And the motion might be the committee recommends that the charter be amended to include a section such as, and we request the support of town council to properly write such a change in the charter, and it should be incorporated under section, there's a whole list of the town manager's responsibilities. It's like paragraph 4D 1 through 15, and there are all kinds of them. And the one I just suggested could be added very simply, and we vote on that. And sort of up or down. And if people don't want to recommend making those changes to the charter, so be it. If they do, we'd have it on the record, and it's something that could proceed in some fashion as part of our official report. At least that's my thought here. Otherwise, the report says the committee discussed and had no thoughts, no recommendations of specificity or not. So anyway, and I would like to see that open up on a future meeting agenda item to propose such motions.
I think that's a great idea to keep things moving along. In all candor, I mean, let's try to get a conclusion.
And
Yes.
and I'll draft some
Rick or
samples
some
and
people
send them to-
write a few of those.
Sorry, Curtis, I'm sorry I interrupted. Could you say it again?
Just, would you write out some of those thoughts so that we can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I like it very much, and I'll add mine to yours.
Yeah, I will do so, and others can do it. If we send them all to John, not
Yep.
that he has to do all the work, I'm sure he can delegate to some of us to help him bring
Yep.
those all together in some written form.
Yes,
Campbell, your hand was up too.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I mean, I think you were asking if I would make a motion on this town government study committee thing. Was that what you were aiming for?
Well, I think
I can give it a try. I'm happy
yeah,
to.
yes, I think so, yes. In other words, somebody has to draft something that our committee says, okay, I agree, that's what we want to do. And I've indicated to John that I have 2 or 3 that I will draft a proposal on. Maybe Curtis has a couple, maybe Linda, maybe Campbell. This subject you've raised now, it has to sort of be fleshed out for us to respond to it and act officially as a committee.
Now, would you say that we have created a motion on the study of the form of government yet, or is that something that we're looking to have a motion also prepared on?
Well, John, I'll be happy to respond myself. I think
Please.
the committee discussed this several times and felt that the non-binding ballot question suggested it needed further study, and that we would indicate in our report we've gone through the pros and cons of the various issues, and that following that ballot vote, we recommend the town follow up with establishing a committee specifically on that issue only, or something like that in our statement. If that's
Just so long as we're using strong language within our recommendations, I'm fine with that. I fear a mamby-pamby approach that will be received the same way that we have been received by town admin through this whole thing. And as we know, annual town meeting can ask for things to be done and they'll get done. It could be 7 years down the road. It'll be on a list, but it's not going to be, it's going to be funneled. So I'd like to have fairly strong language at least come out in our recommendations.
Curtis, your hand's up.
I commented that last night at the select board, Chief Pittman said he couldn't do anything about parking this summer without a parking commission. And as I recall, we had talked about that. You're shaking your head.
Yes, I'm incredulous about the whole thing. We'd absolutely talked about that.
It's
And
on the list, guys. It's on that list from September 2019, Parking Commission. It's on the second page of that list.
Chris, I think you got stymied by town administration when you went and talked to them about that. No?
Yeah, so let's put that back on the list because if the chief says he can't even enforce parking without a commission and they're not doing a damn thing, that's crazy.
So I think
Yes,
I think we would have a recommendation or a motion that we'd vote on that we either support putting the formation of a parking commission in the charter, or the select board commits to do so on their own. If they don't, we will, or something. I mean, something like that. Yeah. It's the same thing with delegating the licensing. We've all said we think that's a good thing. The select board, to my knowledge, has not even come close to discussing that ever. Although they, I think, all liked the idea.
I think you're right.
We could make one of our motions that we recommend the town, either through the charter or through the select board, adopt a licensing commission, period. And we vote on it 7-0, 4-1, whatever.
Yeah.
That is also on that list from September 19th.
Exactly.
I agree. Absolutely. I agree with you totally. So I'm just saying, let's take that list. It may not be everyone, but whatever appeals to any one of us, and our ideas of motions may be a little bit different. But if we don't do that, it just like, here's a list.
Well, right.
Well, we're starting to write a report out of this, thank God.
So let me ask, I think this is great. I'm all in favor of this approach. I think we go through that 2019 memo and just tick things off. And if you have anything else to add, you add that and you email me. We set a list of things to present and sort of motions to vote on. Here's my only other question. I think we could get a lot done with the because we've talked about it for 3 years. I think we can start knocking these off relatively quickly once they're on the agenda. Do we think that we can get all of them done and a discussion on Lauren Goldberg's charter changes in the next meeting, or are we looking at taking 2 meetings to get all of this done? Campbell, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, I would take some of the easier topics, right, on our list, things that, for brief discussion and making a motion on, maybe 4 or 5. And then, but starting the meeting with Lauren's thing, I think Linda's right. She did send us something. I sent everyone a response on my read of it. So that would be my thought. I don't know. I prefer to take specific topics and not have it wide open, because otherwise we can end up, ranging around, which is wonderful. But like my father always said, ladders work best when they're vertical.
That's a good phrase. I like that.
All right, I'm going to look at what she did, but I've already read it, but everybody else should read it. And then we talk about it at the beginning of next week's meeting. I'm going to take a whack at that thing from 2019 and see if I can't flesh out some language on each one of them. So we've got some template to go from.
That would be great.
Bang it off.
Linda, I intend to do a similar thing, so we might coordinate through the chair on that.
Sounds wonderful to me.
Okay.
Teamwork will work. Okay, I mean, yes, Campbell.
I would like to maybe work with Tucker on, he seemed to be doing something with the government, forms of government. And I have found, I'll send them out. I have found some very nice charts that I think would help describe. I think we have verbiage, but people, charts to see what it means. So I'll send those out and try to connect with Tucker to put together the different charts and information that has come up for that topic.
Curtis, that leaves us if people want to pair together. So if you have anything.
Oh, I'm working on a couple.
All right, beautiful. We can do that. I think this makes a lot of sense. I'm frustrated that we got the report 18 months later.
Hey,
I'd
be happy we got it.
but I'm happy we got it. I'm frustrated, but at the same time, I'm seems par for the course with all of this, but I'm happy we got something. Yes, Campbell.
I think what we got was her final for the whole charter. It doesn't really explain anything, but in the section that, as I said, in the section that we had been looking at, it has been streamlined and certain article references that were correct were changed. So the thing has been cleaned up. What I don't know is in that cleanup, does that go in front of the annual town meeting for approval? Or is it just the new way it is? So maybe we'll that out by next week. I mean, it's really just a piece. There's no real report to go
Does
with.
not approve it unless we go and put in warrant articles. So that's not happening this year.
Right.
Okay.
They give them an idea of what we may want to advance next year if there's anything in there that has to go to a town warrant.
Excellent. Thank you for that explanation, Linda.
It's just a report.
Okay, so I think we all have, unless there's anything more to talk about on the list of topics, I think we all have our homework for the next meeting, which is actually, and we can really start getting stuff off our plate and putting things in form so we can submit the report.
Yes.
So I had a question on that.
Yes, Cameron.
We had not at this meeting, but at the previous meeting you weren't at. We were looking at meeting earlier or later in the day.
I made this one's on me today. I read Tucker's email and he said from 9 to 10, and you know what number I saw? 10. You know what number I didn't see? 9.
That's why I sat in front of the
100%
computer
on
for 15 minutes this morning.
This is 100% on me for us meeting today. That is I think town administration had it in a 9. This one's mea culpa. So the other ones that I have, let me pull this up, would be us meeting next Thursday at 9 a.m. and then the following Monday at 9, on Thursday at 9, and then the Thursday after that at 9. So
right.
1, 2, 4 more meetings, which I think we could. Yes, Cameron.
Sorry to keep raising my hand, but I come up with these questions. So at annual town meeting, we're not going to have a screen. So I am wondering how we are to, originally, I think Tucker had thought you would do like a slide keynote or whatever you want to call a slideshow. But it wouldn't appear to me that it would be viewable. So I'm wondering if we've thought about the format for this report and how we would get that.
I assumed, and perhaps incorrectly so, that we were going to have a written report. When I say written, literally on paper.
Handout.
Yeah, a handout. Thank you. A handout, and that it would be posted on the town's website. I mean, but I don't know, to your point, Campbell, I don't know how else it would be disseminated
And
at town meeting, given that there is no screen.
who do we envision as paying for these copies? How many copies are we
Town
envisioning?
page.
Town administration.
I
Well,
can make the copies at the office and they can just charge it to town administration.
no, I'm just saying now the report's gone to the bottom of the file. Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Oh, sorry. We'll have to dust that off 5 years from now.
no,
You can-
and it's actually an interesting question of how many copies to make, et cetera. I'm not.
Has to be sent out 7 days before, which, I mean, I literally just got a letter that was sent April 13th. So 7 days, that would be something that I would think would need to change in the charter, but nonetheless.
So
So
she does note stuff in that charter that says she questions why the times are the way, the 14 days, the 7 days. She does mark those.
That's
yes,
good.
I know. But anyway, so I just wanted to put it out there for something for us to think about how we're going to really get this information out in a really public and transparent way for people. Because I don't see us getting this done in a week. And I believe we're about a month out from the meeting. Do you know if they're going to have those little groups that, you know, how they would, groups would have posters or
I have no idea.
made?
I'll ask the moderator when I talk to her next, if she knows.
We could do something like that
Yeah.
where we have a couple of people available to answer questions or, you know, because not everybody likes to read anymore.
True. Curtis,
My fault. We're not reading.
Curtis, your hand's up.
My understanding is if we get it on the town meeting agenda as an item, and also put it on the website, we can then have the handout at the meeting. We do not have to mail out something a week in advance. As long as it's on the agenda, I think we can do it. And that's what we did 2 meetings ago when we gave out the handout with the 4 types of town government. So that would be my way to do it.
Okay, how do you get on that? And is there a time limit with by when you need to have gotten on that in order to
Well,
be?
that's, John calls Libby and says we want to put it on the agenda.
Yeah, I think they know.
I think she already,
I think they know it's on the agenda, but I'll double check with Libby.
You better be careful. Maybe it's not.
Who knows anymore? All right. So this has been good. So we all know our homework. We all know what we need to do for next Thursday at 9 a.m. Thank you. Any other business at this point?
you can bring coffee, John.
Yeah, a lot of it.
And so my only question, following up further, sorry for going on, is there must be a date by which we should plan on having the report done in such a manner that there would be time to print it and have it prepared for distribution, correct?
Yes.
And then maybe our final meeting can be about a discussion on how we're going about doing that.
That would be nice. That would.
We should discuss it on the 20th and we wrap it up no later than the 27th, which is more than 7 days in advance of town meeting, which is on June 5th.
Okay, so if we have to have a second meeting during the week, we should probably put that on our brains as a possibility.
Okay.
We'll see how productive next week is.
Well, we do have 2 meetings that week, one the 17th and one the 20th. So that week of last prep is, there's 2 meetings already.
Right.
Is that next week?
No,
it's
following week.
Two
following
weeks.
week.
Yeah, we have
Next week,
one.
you
We have
bring
one
all
next
your,
week.
Next week
following.
you bring everything in, and then the next week we tear it apart and put it together.
That's right.
Okay,
Well said. All right, so if there's no other business, the next meeting date is Thursday, May 13th at 9 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
Via Zoom. And unless I hear otherwise from any of our friends at Town Admin, but I'll plan on that.
That'd be-
Just to be firm,
Yes,
next week we have a meeting on Thursday.
Yes.
That's the next meeting.
yes, 9 a.m. Thursday.
Great, thank you.
Yes, sir.
And get it posted on a timely basis.
I will, don't worry. I got it this time. Got it. Yes, yes, of course. Yeah, although to be fair, what I'm gonna plan on doing, just so everybody knows, I'm gonna plan on getting the agenda out on Monday. So give yourselves the weekend to think of I'll try to make the agenda as sort of vague as possible.
don't make it too vague.
Vague as
Well,
possible so we can talk about it, so we're not super specific, so we have a little more time, but I'll make sure we meet it within 40 days.
In other words, the usual agenda, vague as possible.
That's it. Coming from a lawyer, that's exactly right. All right, if nobody has anything else, can I have a motion to adjourn at 10:40?
Move for adjournment.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Motion made. Is there a second?
Second.
Beautiful, thank you. And let's do, we'll roll call vote. Campbell Sutton,
aye.
Rick Atherton,
Aye.
Linda Williams,
Yep.
Curtis Barnes,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye as well. All right, thank you all very much. See you in a week.
All right.
Okay.
All right, thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
Bye.
John.